Hello. We are back. I did this last week as well. But, yeah, I want to be able to do and show this off online. And get, of course, immediate feedback. It's still missing some parts, but I've been adding to the system. We have a lot more in here now. I've been working on a bunch of different areas. A big one of those is spells. There's now pages, and actually, I don't think that's up to date. Maybe it is. I thought I started on 4th level spells. But yeah, they're now fairly lengthy lists, and I think I already had this up, but I'll pull it up anyway. So, we now have a lot of cantrips. We cover most of the basics. Every particular cantrip has an upgrade path, so they develop as you progress. But the thing I want to really start on today is gonna be the archetypes. Archetypes are the equivalent of classes. I just like calling them an archetype. They're very much a type of character, which is what an archetype basically means. And I still have some of these listed, but there's one I started to build because I was talking to some new players, potentially for Celestia, and they were considering doing a Slayer, but I've been wanting to do this for a while, and what that is making the Slayer both potentially a ranger in the 5e sense and a rogue. Getting rid of both classes independently for one combined class. And I've done a little bit of work on it already. You can still see the original Slayer, which is a type of ranger. And there's some changes I've already made, but we're gonna have to take a look at the skills, particularly. Some of those, and I don't really think there's too many left, but some of those are based on 5e. Like, expertise, I think, might be the only one, and extra attack. But we're going to be dealing with both of those a little bit differently. Rogue is going to have more things that we're going to have to make a version of. And if you go back, you'll notice I've already done some of the legwork. We're up to level 3. And so far, I like the balance we see. We're going to talk about some of the different characteristics that go into a character in the Celestia RPG as well. When it says edge attack, it's functionally the same thing as sneak attack. And I think I mentioned it in here, but we'll double check that it only happens once per turn. Maybe I didn't. You can only use edge attack once per turn, because we need to make a limit on it, or you'd be dishing out like insane amounts of damage, especially at higher levels. Now, there are some things I'm pulling out because they're no longer part of this page. So far, the only archetype is going to be the Slayer Archetype. I need to do the same sort of thing to the others, and then build them over in here. But character development now actually has its own page. Certain things are going to be done there. In fact, we showed the level and your competence bonus, which is the replacement for proficiency bonus. I've actually scaled back the levels for competence compared to proficiency. So, around the level that most campaigns end, 10, 11, 12, up as high as like 13 and 14 down here, you're dealing with the high end for proficiency bonus. At least in 5e. So, you get the highest possible bonus by about the time most campaigns end. In fact, I expect most campaigns will end somewhere within about 4 levels of level 10. My own P Celestia campaign is level 9 currently. They have some definite stories that are still there. But it is getting definitely harder to challenge them. And that's without using any of the updates. So, yeah. We're gonna list feats gained here, and when we get them, which is every 4 levels, and now that it's not part of a class, I'm just giving you a feat at level 20. And that feat can be 2 ability points. I actually felt like giving an ability point every 2 levels, but then you couldn't really do feats. Or at least not together. And I still want independent feats, because ancestries will have, well, I should say this differently. Trait gained. And master traits. So, D&D, well, for one D&D, they had the idea of epic feats. Here, you're gonna get master traits, which are effectively the same thing, and they start at level 11. So, it's gonna be a little bit different if you get into the high levels. I think... Yeah, let's change the name before I accidentally... do that. Alright. So master traits are in. I'm also planning a system for the archetypes. When you get to 10th level, there's gonna be sort of like a optional track you can take if you want to do some sort of like multi-classing equivalent. Like you could take what I'm calling the fighter path, or the hybrid path, or the spellcasting path. Though spellcasting path may not happen, we're gonna have to see. I might make it so it's a low magic like archetype. We'll see. We're gonna have to do some work on that, definitely. But you'll have those as options instead of continuing your current archetype. So, yeah, that's definitely gonna be a thing. It gives you something to do besides just multi-classing. it's not gonna be any of the base classes. So you might even do it if you are, say, a destroyer fighter. Well, destroyer archetype type of fighter. It's probably a better way to put that. But you could take the fighter path, and it's going to have common features to all of those, like the option to get another fighting style. Fighting styles are definitely a big part of Slayer. You're getting those right off the bat. You also get edge attack and a skill mastery. Skill mastery is effectively expertise from 5e. It doubles your competence bonus with a particular skill. And our skills are now in line with the Celestia RPG skills. So, we have some like empathy and lore nature and notice, rapport, provoke, that aren't in 5e. Also, you get a craft skill, which one of those options is Thieves' Tools. So every Slayer isn't going to fight the same way. So you have options. And if I have time, I'll give, like, examples. In fact, I might list them here. Slayer examples. We'll come back to that. But yeah, we'll give some examples, have sort of an idea or a prototype that people can take. So, definitely an option. Sorry, I got a message, and I'm not sure where it came from, on Discord. So I was just taking a look. Anyway, so yeah, basically the big thing that we're adding, and was already in part of Slayer, and all the wires now, is martial die uses, and techniques, which are all related to fighting styles. There is a very big list of, at least variants of, like, traditional martial arts. So, like, sword and board is a style, but so is savate, and provocateur, haha, Naginata Jutsu even. But lots of different options. Wing Chun, Wushu, give you a lot of style options. I'm gonna make a list at some point where in the world these things fall, because there's a lot of places in Celestia. This is actually the list of nations, and it's quite long, because it includes cities and other parts. I don't have a map. If anyone out there is good at making maps, I would love to have an official map. I know what the world looks like in my head, but I am not good at making maps. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing. But yeah, gaining one of these styles unlocks, and I'm just going to use an example, a bunch of techniques. You can take these techniques if you meet the requirements. Sorry. So yeah, like if you want disarming strike and you take arc style, then there's certain, like, components to that, like weapons that are more specific to the style in question, as well as an idea what sort of armor you might wear as a stylist. And Usually they also give a passive, like Arc Style doesn't happen to, but Banju gives you gain 1 extra martial die per rest, which is kind of big. I don't think any of the others give that. It's definitely an interesting take. But that would be an increase to your martial die uses. Basically, you need a martial die use, basically 1 martial die, to actually use a technique. So these go hand in hand. Now, in another difference from 5e, in Celestia, your bonus to a particular stat starts at 2. If you have a 2 in Constitution, you have a +1 bonus. So, that, when it says Constitution bonus +1, we're assuming most players are going to have probably at least a 10 in Constitution. So the number of uses is actually established at 6. So that's how we figure this out. It makes it a little more difficult to set the actual numbers. But yeah, they get additional fighting styles. That's why the number goes up to a 2 and eventually a 3. I don't think they get more than a 3, but 3 styles would be a lot. Especially since we're not giving them a huge number of techniques. Still 5 techniques to start out, and at the end, 10 techniques total. Which is maybe too little or too much. We're gonna have to play with that in an actual game to see. I list competence bonus here, as well as on the character development page. And that's mostly just so we don't, forget, and it's in one easy place. It's easier for, me as a GM to tell everyone, hey, you're 4th level now. You get a feat, and remind them that way, rather than having to spell it out. So, that actually is what makes level 4 a little bit hard for our Slayer here. In 5e, that would be a feat. But we took the feats out and moved them to the character itself. So your character level is now 4. Whether you continue as a Slayer or not. And this is going to affect multi-classing a bit. But your character level will choose basically when you get feats what your competence bonus is. So this isn't even always correct with the competence bonus over here. It's for your character as a whole. But I'm still listing it here. I might take it out. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, what we want to do now is actually look at the level 4 properties. Well, probably level 5, and figure what we want to move down 1 spot. And I already grabbed evasion. Evasion was at 7th level for both. Getting fighting style, a skill mastery, and evasion was always parts of all 3. Both original classes. So, evasive movement. I think we could give that at 4th. It's a very nice ability. I don't think it's game breaking. Definitely in line with what we want. We want them to be mobile fighters. So, evasive movement. There we go. Now, 5th level. We just grabbed the main 5th level ability from the original Slayer. So let's look over at the rogue, who get uncanny dodge. I'm gonna switch back over here for a sec. I don't recall. Actually, I think I have rogue up on here. Yeah, even in, and this is what we're looking at, Pathfinder 2nd edition, they get evasion at 7th level. Weapon tricks, we're already doing that as part of ours, but as fighting styles. Let's see. We don't have debilitating strike. But, I don't know. That might be something we can add in. I think that would be part of, like, a fighting style instead. And there's a whole list of these. I saw dodge. Nimble dodge. I don't know what it is. It's a reaction or a one action. What does uncanny dodge actually do? Because I don't remember the specifics. It halves damage on a reaction. Yeah, that seems pretty basic. And kinda similar to what they do. I'll probably rename it. I'm not sure what to call it yet, though. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Sorry. Got another ping. I'm wondering where the heck these pings are coming from. It just makes it so I see it flashing, which is kind of annoying since it's in the corner of my eye. Let's see. So, we need a name. Definitely regular dodge is not it. You know what? Let's call it improved dodge. Or, you know what? Canny dodge. I like that. Or cunning dodge. Yeah, I think I like cunning dodge. Because the action system is different for Celestia than it is in 5e. Like, there's no cunning actions the same way there would be for a normal rogue. That's actually one reason I wanted to combine the two. Because when I get rid of that as part of the rogue, it feels very weird. I have a sudden hole. And I would have to figure out how to fill that. Instead, we're going to create this. So, cunning dodge is a reaction you can take on your turn when hit by a successful attack. using Cunning Dodge. Reduces the attack's damage by half. I think that works. That's all we really need to say about what a Cunning Dodge is. I don't like it increasing your AC against an attack the way this does. Because it just seems a little limited. Yeah, you probably don't have a good chance of forcing that to, like, increase your ability to actually avoid getting hit. So, yeah. So, subtypes are going to give you abilities anyways. So, we're not going to include those on here. I don't think they gain anything at 6 anyway. Besides that. Yeah. Ninth gives us expertise and extra attack. With the original rogue, we're going to do better here. Because your full attacks, what replaces extra attack, increase at 5th. As part of the previous Slayer/Ranger. So, yeah, we've already filled that in. And skill masteries, I pushed it back to 9th. But they start with 1. Oh, and that is 9th. So I guess it's already there. We just pulled that over. And they already had one at 3rd. But I have one to start with instead. Linguistics is already in Slayer, and it can be Thieves' Cant or one of your choice. So, more options there. So yeah, that gives us everything to 7th level. So we need to look at 8. 8 is a feat originally on both. Slayer Endurance is a 9. This is a version of Second Wind, basically. It's a little bit different. I probably don't want to use it quite the way it is. It's definitely a combined feat. It gives you several things. Proficiency bonus in Constitution saves. In fact, we should probably have it give another saving throw, possibly. But we can part that out. There's definitely 2 aspects of this. I don't think we have anything called Endurance currently. But let's find out. No, just Slayer's Endurance. So, let's create a new page. Which it didn't include that. Endurance grants. Oops. Endurance grants. Competence bonus in Constitution saves. It also allows you to recover a single level of exhaustion on a short rest. And I'm gonna change the rest system at some point. It's gonna be a little bit different. Now we can just insert that. Very handy, very handy. But that's gonna have the other part come up. Which is the temporary hit points. In fact, that might be interesting, because they're gonna get it at 9. That's the level of the original Celestia campaign. So, that is definitely gonna come into play when the characters actually get around to getting their 9th level. What do we want to call it? I don't really want to use Second Wind. I think Lancer still uses that. I have a lot of tabs open. It does still use... Oh, Second Wind is actually a term I'm using. So yeah, already used. And I'm probably going to replace it anyway. What do we want to call it? That is a good question. I don't know if we have a page called Toughness. We could definitely create that. Yeah. I don't know if we want to call it Slayer Toughness. That seems a little much. Toughness allows you to gain temporary health, but how much? That is not a lot, even at 9th level. Gain 2 times your martial die plus your constitution bonus. And I managed to misspell constitution. It is actually really hard to spell constitution. Plus your constitution bonus has temporary health. By spending a martial die. Yeah. I think that'll work. We'll insert toughness. Actually, should probably look at the feat list real quick. Do I have a feat currently called toughness? If I do, that's gonna get a little problematic. I have one called tough. It's probably different enough. So yeah, we can have toughness here. Let's back out for 1 sec. Because I think we need to probably add to that. So, there's actually a list of techniques. Still called combat maneuvers from when I originally created them. It's obviously a level 9 requirement. time to use. I don't think we need to worry about that. Duration is definitely sort of instant until they're gone. It takes one action to use this ability. And let's see. What do we want to do? Well, and they last until you take a short rest or take damage that removes them. Basically, they can last up to a short rest. So, as long as you don't short rest too often, you could keep them for a while. So, we're gonna figure a short rest is like 4 to 6 hours, roughly. Which is a decent amount of time to keep them. And let's see. It is a martial die use, a probably pretty useful one. I think maybe one fighting style might actually give you something similar. I forget which one. I'd have to go finding it. Your martial die, when you get it, is going to be a d8. So 2d8. So 2 to 16, plus your constitution bonus. Which is going to be up to 18, which would be a +9, maybe a +10, so 20-ish. That's not huge, but it is something. If you're running low on health, you can pop that off, get a little back, and then go back into the attack. I think it's worth it. It's not huge, but it's something. Alright. Yeah, I think that will work. That describes everything we need. It matches the techniques as far as what it actually does. Alright, so that gets us to 10th level. Now you are a master. You get your Slayer subtype, and we're going to work on those in a little bit. Level 11. So, what do they actually get at 11? Oh, they get a lot over here. What does Rogue get? Because I'm combining 2 existing ones. Reliable. I don't remember what reliable does. That's one that came from 5e, when this was still just a campaign, a heavily modified campaign using 5e. You know what? This has literally no purpose. Skills have a much higher bonus in Celestia. Generally, at least. So I don't think we actually need that. Reliable is not really a big skill we need to look at. But hide in plain sight might be really good. Bonus actions aren't a thing anymore. I will probably change this text. What's follow-up strike? Follow-up strike is interesting, definitely. But we might need to change it a little. Because there's a mechanic for the action system that's going to change how that plays out. It might still be a good tactic, but I would have to change the wording, definitely. Just for the heck of it. We're clear of subtype things for 3 levels. There's a feat. We're gonna have to fill that gap. Oh, they get uncanny dodge, which we already had. So, our cunning dodge that replaces it would fill in there. Blind sense. I think they get blind sense over here as well. They do. We'll probably move that higher up. There's gonna be some sort of trait instead that could get you blind sense early. If you wanted to get it a different way. So, I don't think moving it up is gonna be an issue. And then we'll look at the rest in a sec. But the only thing we really have over here is blind sense. So, I don't think we need anything from them. That will let us take both of these, but in a different state. I'm gonna say hide in plain sight is probably the one we get first. So let's take a look at that. Hide in plain sight. The next one is follow-up strike. Alright, so follow-up strike. And we're gonna change the text for both of those. Next would be uncanny dodge. Which we don't need. We could push keen senses down. Or move slippery mind up. What exactly does slippery mind do? And we'll probably rename it. Oh wow, they get another proficiency in a saving throw. Which is a wisdom one. We'll call it cunning mind. So, where are our proficiencies, save-wise? Alright, we have intelligence. We'll add wisdom to it. With that, we added constitution from the Slayer originally. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Alright, now, obviously, we're gonna need to edit some of these. Oh, I should have probably just created it from the other one. We're just gonna drag the text from here into here. They're gonna end up with a lot of saving throws. Yeah. Which is probably gonna be good. I think the only saving throw we don't target too often is charisma. But with a competence bonus for both intelligence and wisdom, because there's a combined save for all mental stats, which is your will save, that will get an increase across the board for will saves. So if something happens to specifically target charisma, then you might have some trouble at, what was this? 13th level but I think you're doing okay. I'm also going to add some text to this. It is also much harder than normal to read your mind. Any attempts to read your mind have hindrance, which is the equivalent of disadvantage. So, I think that's good. It's very much in line with endurance earlier. Now, hide in plain sight. So there's gonna have to be 2 versions of this. 5e style. At least until we get rid of 5e as something Celestia uses. There's gonna be 2 versions. Celestia RPG style. So, as an action, you can enter stealth. Even when not in cover or while in line of sight. Let me capitalize that. That's definitely a term that should be capitalized here. As long as some sort of cover exists nearby, or the visibility is low. Yeah, I'm not gonna limit it by proficiency bonus like I did with the other version. Near to you. Yeah, that's probably a little bit better take. So yeah, as an action, you enter stealth, even when not in cover or while in line of sight, as long as some sort of cover exists near to you, where the visibility is low. I'll add a comma. I think a comma should definitely go in there. This stealth is only broken through the same sort of conditions as the invisible status. I think that works. It is effectively the same thing as being invisible, like in the first example. It costs an action, but you get 3 every turn. So, you could strike, hide in plain sight, and move away. Or strike, move away, and hide. And you could hide with any sort of cover. Yeah, because it says some sort of cover. So yeah, I think that should be okay. We're gonna have to establish terms eventually for what you need to hide. I'm gonna say it definitely requires cover, usually. Or, like, darkness. Alright, follow-up strike, which is also gonna need 2 versions. So, 5e version and Celestia RPG version. Alright. So, on your turn, if the first attack you make misses, if you make a second attack, that attack has edge. And edge is our name for advantage, because you have edge on the roll. So it felt definitely poetic. Yeah, there's no talk of performing multiple actions. We know you have extra attack, so that's not even an issue here. So yeah. I think that's everything you need to know. Simply, on your turn, if the first attack you make misses, if you make a second attack, that attack has edge. Yeah. I think that makes verbal sense, which is mostly what I'm going for. Right, let's update the page, which gets us to level 15. I think that's keen senses time. It is really hard to tell. Okay, yes, keen senses, which I don't think we're gonna have an issue with. I'm gonna definitely change the text some though. Keen senses. There we go. Let's look at level 16, which is a feat level. But we get Vanish and multi-attack defense. And what do we get over here? Elusive. What did elusive do? If I could spell elusive. I could work with that. I don't know if I would call it elusive. There is actually a ability over here. Somewhere. I know I saw it. Oh, deny advantage at 3rd level. Which does effectively the same thing. I don't like calling it deny advantage either, so we'll probably make up a new term. But it is definitely like that feature. Since we're not sure yet, let us list them here. And we should probably list what level it came from, just to make this easier. 17... because 16 and 17 are openings. Multi-attack defense and vanish. multi-attack defense, and vanish. Well, we definitely have 2 spaces. So, we're gonna have to work which of these we want. What levels are those? Both 17. Well, this is gonna get interesting. While we're at it, let's do the ones for 19 and 20 as well. A blind sense. Which level was that? 19. And yeah, there was no other capstone for them. And there was no other capstone or anything for them. So we do have several abilities and 4 holes. Let's see. Multi-attack defense. What does that actually do? That is probably the weakest. But let's double check with vanish. The first part isn't actually going to come up. Not on our Slayer. Because already that's not a thing. So, it's mostly you can't be tracked by non-magical means. Which isn't that big either. You know, out of all those, vanish is probably the weakest. So we'll put vanish in there. Blind sense is pretty useful. But I'll probably make the capstone be elusive, or whatever we want to call it. And we can put blind sense in up here. Which leaves multi-attack defense for there. Which actually should be spelled a little bit different, but I definitely couldn't spell it that way. What do we want to call elusive? Guarded, maybe? Show no weakness. I like that for a name. I definitely like that for a name. Alright. So, I'm gonna borrow the text from over here for a sec. Just to give us a base of text to work on.
I'm invading your personal space and your stream.
Hello.
Hello.
Already done with the stream you're on?
Correct. It was only an hour.
Oh, that's pretty short.
When your thing was gonna be... Yeah, it was a quick... It's like a 10-minute thing per person, so... It was relatively short.
We've been working on the Slayer, the new Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty interesting, actually. At least I think so. I think we are pretty much finished. I'm just going over a few little last changes. Oh, and then I need subtypes. So,
That's a whole other thing, though.
well, I mostly just need to borrow them from the originals. So, not too big. Not too big. But, yeah. Right now, we're actually working on a level 20 ability that is basically the level 3 ability in Pathfinder 2nd Edition for rogues.
Wait, why is your capstone a normal rogue thing?
Because the original
Let me check
like,
what that is, actually.
Celestia Rogue did not actually have it.
I haven't touched rogues in a hot minute.
It's interesting.
Oh, yeah. You just literally aren't disabilitated by things that are weaker than you.
Well, you aren't flat-footed by...
Well, yeah, flat, hidden, undetected, blah, blah, blah. Or aren't flat-footed to things that are weaker than you.
Yes.
And flat-footed is like, in 2E at least, flat-footed is the effect that triggers your ability to take other types of debilitations.
Yes. So, like, it's gonna, at least in Celestia, make the Slayer immune to, what? In 5e or in Pathfinder would be sneak attack.
Well, yeah.
So, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Level 20 rogue, your ability is immune to sneak attack from other rogues. Like, thematically, that's very hilarious.
I like it. I like
You know,
it.
it works.
Plus, it's called Show No Weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Long training makes it so. I don't call it flat-footed in Celestia.
Yep.
I did rename the status condition. It is called Off Guard.
Yeah. Because while flat-footed, you know, as a word makes sense, you have to explain what flat-footed means in modern English.
Yeah. This literally is a gorgeous sentence. Long training makes it so you cannot be caught off guard. You wouldn't even notice off guard meant something special. Unless, you know. But I'm just gonna say universally, you cannot be caught off guard. Because undetected counts for invisibility. Flanking doesn't really cause off guard, but I will add a little text about flanking there. Flanking rules in Celestia use the three-man theory, if you happen to know that.
Hi, sorry, I had to mute because family came home loudly.
It's okay. I was just talking about flanking.
Yeah. I heard.
You also cannot be flanked.
I also had to actually leave though, so hello and goodbye, because I have to go do a thing.
Okay.
Sorry for
no
popping in to
spell
pop out. I'm so sorry. I actually wanted to talk about stuff, but it will have to wait.
Sure.
Sucks
I'll be
so
on
bad.
for probably at least another couple hours. So.
Yeah, I have to go like, I don't know when I'll be back because I have to cook and then eat and then do something else. So I will sadly have to do this another time.
Sounds fun. Have good moms.
Yep, apologies. Have a good night, have a good time, and I shall see you later. Also,
Take
chat,
care.
goodbye, hello, and goodbye.
So, yeah, that was Games stopping by. We didn't really get to talk nearly as much as I had expected. But I wasn't sure he would make it at all, so it's okay. We're gonna talk about spells. He's more of an expert on Pathfinder than I am. So, yeah, it's an interesting take. We don't usually get to sit down, because most of the time I spend working on this is early in the morning. For the purposes of increased damage. So they can still get edge, but they can't increase the damage. We'll put a such as edge attack, just to clarify. Yeah. Alright. I have no idea how that would actually look, but let's take a look at the other abilities here. So in 5E, you can use the hide action as a bonus action on your turn. The Celestia RPG version, you cannot vanish makes it so you cannot be tracked by non-magical means unless you choose to leave a trail. That's it. But very useful in certain situations. A lot of your abilities on Slayer are still gonna come from your fighting style and like any abilities you might get from your subtype. And let's look at multi-attack defense. You know what? I don't think I need to change the text of that at all. How about blind sense? What did I put for blind sense? As you compensate with your other senses. Yeah. Definitely calling it blind sense, but it's not quite the same as conventional blind sense. Alright, I think that works. So, let's look at subtypes. This is gonna get a little bit crazy, because there are a lot of subtypes from the originals. In fact, we're gonna move some of them around. Like, Arcane Archer isn't gonna be one that we keep. We're gonna merge a few. Arcane Archer is gonna go into Spellblade. And let's grab the rogue ones. if you see these here, it's because they're earlier versions. When I discontinue them as the active version, I put them down in my GM only area so I can still see them for reference. So if you're curious why they're there, that is why. Alright, so. Obviously, some of the terminology is definitely going to change. So, like, Beastmaster, Slayer subtype. This way it's just a fresh page. It's not going to be like the original. I'm going to have to look at the Huntsman and the Champion. I definitely want a Stalker Slayer subtype. Oh, actually the first one should probably be the, Assassin Slayer subtype. Assassin might gain a few features from some of the others. We'll have to see. Beastmaster is next. I definitely want the Inquisitor. Which I think is the next one. Inquisitor subtype. I'm thinking about not keeping the Mounted Slayer. I think Huntsman was an archer, but I want to make sure. And I need to check what the Champion Slayer was before I consider that one. I still kind of want the Scout Slayer subtype. Scouts had some nice abilities. And Soul Knife Slayer subtype. Definitely want to keep that. Actually, that one I know is going to get combined with the Immortal Slayer. Getting most of the features of it. We'll have to look at those to say for sure. But that one can actually probably be first. Let's make Soul Knife into 2 words. Or actually, you know what? We'll do it properly. There should be a Soul Dash Knife. Yeah, we'll be grammatically correct. And Swashbuckler Slayer subtype is going to be another one. Yeah. Oh, Thief. Thief Slayer subtype. Which we could probably add some different skills to now. We'll have to see. It's definitely a possibility there. So, we did finish looking at these for now. Alright. So, let's start with the Soul Knife. That is an easy one to start with. Most of their abilities are going to be part of the Soul Knife abilities. And I'm probably going to change this listing. Probably. Some of this is definitely gonna change. The Soul Knife Slayer is a master of psionic abilities. While rare, they can use their abilities to powerful effect. We'll add some more text to that. Alright. I don't need to remove this page, but now we have it. We're probably gonna want to look at the Soul Knife abilities. A lot of good abilities by the look of it. This is the table that will probably be expanded, because we'll add in the features that were parts of the Immortal Slayer. Immortal Slayers didn't get much in the way of base abilities. They don't gain any spell training or equipment training. The only thing they get is the level 18 Ageless effect. Yeah. Which just basically made them not age, which is kinda useless. At least functionally in the game. Alright. We're gonna take all these. And there were more abilities that I potentially had planned from other sources. Just because I want to double check they don't exist already. And actually, yeah, I think they use the same table. Okay, so these are in alphabetical order for each level, requirement-wise. So, Mend Wounds would fit right in here. Rapid Step can go right there. Restoring Touch, also very useful. View Aura. I don't see any reason not to let them have those. So that's the last one before level 6. Find Creature, Psionic Chameleon. Might, Movement. Take both of those. Those would go before Psionic Chameleon. The other ones, Restore Health, Step from Sight, Venom Strike. Those are all gonna go after. Then we have level 10s. Action Surge, which is definitely going to be the first of the level 10s. Enduring Invisibility. That is also before Ethereal Strike. Piercing Sight. That is going to be right here. Restore Vigor. Yeah, I can definitely add that. Some of these, I'm definitely going to have to make a new form when we fully port it over. Definitely. Continual Healing and Corrosive Reaction. They're gonna both go before Danger Sense and True Sight, which I don't even have as a possible spell yet. But now we got them all. That is a much longer list of abilities. Yeah. You're definitely gonna have to pick which ones you want from this list. We do give them more martial die uses. Normally... Well, let's look at level 10. Level 10 is a nice place to look. They get +4 to the number of abilities. That ups them to a +9. Which puts them on par with level 18 for a normal Slayer. I think that's pretty good. They also gain more techniques. And we're definitely going to make sure to call them techniques. We already also get Psychic Blades and Psychic Blade Style. So, yeah, automatic abilities at 2 and 10. I think that's good. Since they're techniques, you can also take them rather than, like, fighting style. So, it's gonna let you mix and match things. Alright, I think that works pretty good, at least initially. We might come back to this at some point, but as a subtype, I think it's doing pretty good work. We can drop those. Oh, let's add a little more flavor text. Their development of psionic powers makes them incredibly hard to kill. A trait that is very useful for people who spend long periods of time. Actually, I'm just gonna put it right there. Put a period on that. I mean, why they develop those abilities could be any number of things. That seems a little bit limiting. And I will add this text here about one of the few alternative healers. Alright, that sounds good. Add a little more flavor. Alright, that's the first subtype finished. There we go. It actually shows up now. Let's look at Huntsman. Oh, they're the up-close and personal type. I probably do want some version of this, but I'm not sure what it's gonna look like yet. What is... I think Stalker Slayer is the archer, yes. Which is definitely what I want. Okay, some definite abilities here in the Champion Slayer. You know what? We might want to have Champion Slayer be the assassin. There is already a older assassin rogue, but I think the Champion Slayer abilities are probably better. They do get the cool death tokens. I borrowed that from the 5e It's not an assassin. I forget what class or subclass it was. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I borrowed it and made it more interesting. But yeah. We might have these rolled into, like, the investigator, maybe. We'll put the champion slayer abilities in our assassin slayer. So let's grab the abilities. The text is obviously going to change. So our flavored text will be different. Alright, I don't think there's anything... Actually, you know, I could pretty much use the text too. Assassin Slayers have one goal. To defeat their enemy I don't think we need the chosen part for an assassin. Definitely not monstrous creatures, undead, or just the corrupted. To this end, they harness... whatever magic, training, or cunning they can acquire to accomplish their task. I think that works. Hey, Conver, how you doing? Hopefully good. Alright, I think that will work for our text. And I can get rid of the Slayer. I am good. I've been working on the Celestia stuff for a while. I don't know if you heard the news, but when Wizards of the Coast laid out their plans for the open gaming license, it kind of derailed what I was planning to do. So I'm making Celestia into its own TTRPG, its own tabletop role-playing game from scratch. Well, obviously I have what I already did for the campaign, but it needs adjusted now. So, yeah. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm actually not even looking at the dashboard. So, I couldn't see that the ads hit. I am so sorry. They really need to fix that, by the way. You shouldn't get an ad if you just joined the channel. They should definitely give you a little bit before they hit you with the ads. At least that's what I think. Unfortunately, I have to have the ads. Just don't make enough from subs yet to be able to get rid of ads. If I had enough subs, I would totally get rid of ads. But, unfortunately, not an option. So, yeah. If all my streams got, like, 12 or more people, it would be totally different. Yeah, what I said was just about how Wizards of the Coast talked about changing their open gaming license. Well, it came out that they were planning to, which threw me into a flurry. because I had planned to release a bunch of the D&D stuff that I had worked out for the campaign as like separate like PDFs. So you'd get like the Slayer's PDF with all the subclasses that are used in Celestia, as well as the base class. And you could just plug that into a 5e game and use it. It was part of the big plan I had for the Streamiversary, my second anniversary of streaming, which is actually Monday, and I have absolutely nothing planned for it, because all I've had time for the last couple weeks is putting together Celestia stuff. Yeah. Oh, and then, see, Stream Elements wants to help everyone by talking about how to get rid of ads. Not exactly practical, but, hey, it tries. So. We do actually have text now. So let's double check it there. I think this is probably good enough for our Assassin Slayer at the moment. So, yeah. Let's put that away. Stalker, we can probably just take verbatim. Yeah. I might add a few abilities from one of the other types. But for now, we can probably just go with this text. I thought it was one we'd need to alter. But maybe that was from the Huntsman? I am not sure. I know I had some sort of thought about it. Alright, let's see. That gives us 3 now. You know what? I think Thief Rogue, we can probably get out of the way. Wow, there is not a lot for Thief Rogues. You know what? Let's just take this part. And we will toss it in here. I'm obviously going to have to find some other, like, abilities to add to it. It is very light compared to the others on abilities. I'm not sure what yet. Maybe parts of Champion? Let's look at the Inquisitor as well. Yeah, let's look at Inquisitor. Which also has very few abilities. We will take everything that's there, and we're gonna have to add to it. Let's take this and slap it down here for the moment. But we have taken what we can from the base class. Alright. Huntsman and Champion are probably the 2 biggest categories. Whoops, I just hit Stalker. Let me close that tab. To grab abilities from. Dread Ambusher. Oh wait, we put these in Assassin. Yeah, I was thinking about grabbing the Assassin features and slotting them into Inquisitor, potentially. Alright, so obviously Assassinate is probably not an Inquisitor ability. I'm going to say it might go on our Thief, but we're not going to put it on yet. I'm not sure if I want our Thief to be that evil. That definitely seems pretty evil. Death tokens definitely seems to fit our Inquisitor. That's a level 6 ability. I had to double check. Alright, so Cunning, Insight. Alright. Let's just grab those for now and slide them in here. We have one level 10 ability, Insightful Manipulator. Cunning Insight will definitely fit in here. There I have a lot of insight ability, so it's very fitting, very fitting. Ghost Walk. I don't know if I would include that, but Mental Fortress. I can definitely see that. That would go here at 14. Eye for Weakness, Death Strike, and Create an Opening. Create an Opening seems like it might be more of a Thief ability. But they get a really great Thief ability. So I'm not sure if I want it there. Yeah, let's drop those over here just to see what we have to work with. Fast Hands. Second Story Work. Stealthy Movement. Magical Knowledge, which is also very useful. I don't know. I don't think any parts of the Assassin really fit. Yeah. The Inquisitor, though, got a couple of nice upgrades. That seems a lot more fleshed out now. So that's a good subtype. They also get a lot of, like, crafting ability and language ability. So that one is pretty good as far as a place it's at. Yeah, I just wanted to show which ones we've gotten taken care of. You know what? While there is a scout on its own, you know what? I think Scout is a very compelling set of abilities already. I don't think we need to really, like, edit any of that. Except the text a little bit. In fact, text is what we need to do on our other one as well. So let's grab the text here, slot it right in. The Scout Slayer is a wilderness type who often, well, there are no rangers anymore. Celestia doesn't have any. The Scout Slayer is a wilderness type who often explores the areas between cities. While less adept than some others in urban environments, they make up for it in the wilds. I think that's all very fitting flavor text. That looks to be in a good place. They have a lot of abilities. I actually try to get about 2 per level whenever it is a subtype level. That is sort of what I'm going for. You only get 1 for most levels here, but you get a lot of other things that happen at the same time. So, 1 a here is not just 1. It's usually more than 1. What do I have for Swashbuckler? Swashbuckler is not very fleshed out. So, we can probably just take that, and we can work on adding some additional abilities. So let's pop that in. The Swashbuckler Slayer is an urban fighter known for its agility or there. It should definitely be there, agility, cunning, and guile. And yeah, we have the bases covered there. Let's save this for the moment. Wait, we haven't done Beastmaster yet? Let's do Beastmaster. That I can get out of the way. Beastmaster is very powerful. So much so that I actually do not include 2 abilities for them. Like I do for most. Because they get a beast companion, which advances as they level. My current campaign, or at least the OG campaign, has had a Beastmaster in it, and they're still using at level 8, or at least he was last level 8 before he had to go on hiatus. Using the same companion he picked at level 1, which is a giant snake, a giant poisonous snake. It was, and has been, a determining factor in a lot of battles. Even though he could get a much more powerful creature now, he stays with the snake. I think it's doing a pretty good job, so yeah, I don't think it needs a lot of extra power. I might add something to it, but for the most part, I think they're in a good place. Alright, so we have 3 types that are a little underpowered. We do have the Huntsman and the Mounted Slayer and parts of the Assassin that we could do something with. The Assassin Slayer gets a lot of abilities that are going to be good for them. Yeah. I think they're okay. I don't think they need anything from the assassin type that we already had. I think they're probably in a good place. But huntsman abilities should probably go somewhere. In mounted slayer, you know what? We could probably give a lot of parts, or at least some parts, for mounted slayer to beastmaster. Yeah. They don't need second wind or action surge, which was mostly a thing because some of the abilities were tied to it. Ferocious charger and mounts charge. Maybe I could give to the beastmaster. In fact, I don't think we want to or should even bother to carry the other parts. But I'm just gonna slap these in the GM area so we can look at those later. Yeah, they also get a lot of similar features, which is what the true mount spawned and the bonded mount are. That make their pet upgrade as you level, which is a very strong ability. Yeah. And this is a definite thing in 5e. Any CR value at 18th level would give you a lot of choices. Though it is 18th level. You know what? One of the things I could do to Beastmaster is to say that these are gained as character level. So even if you stopped taking the Beastmaster Slayer subtype, you would gain the abilities. But I don't know if I want to go that far yet. And for anyone who missed it, character level has its own development in Celestia. So there are some things you always get, regardless of where you actually put your levels. So that's what I'm referring to. I think Beastmaster's okay for now. Let's see. We still need Swashbuckler and Thief. A little more, at least. Pinning Shot. What do we have for Stalker at that level? Because that definitely seems it's 6th level. Like a Stalker ability. No, I think we already got enough abilities, probably. I could probably put Pinning Shot as 2nd level? There isn't any 2nd level ability. And Pinning Shot does certainly seem more like a Stalker ability. So let's modify it a little bit. Level 2. All that text sounds okay. That will give a much fuller list to them. I think they're only short 2 abilities at level 14. They just have 1. But they're very fleshed out, so I think they're probably good. That didn't get us anything for what we want, though. And I got rid of Slayer's Insight. I'm definitely gonna have to come up with something for that. I can definitely see Swashbuckler getting a version of Hunter's Sense. Though it probably should not be called Hunter's Sense. Let's call it Combat Sense. You immediately learn whether the creature has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are for any... Okay. That is all text that is gone from Slayer when we did the change. So... For any creature that you spend 1 turn analyzing, or 1 action, sorry. Yeah, I think that will work. That is a very strong first level. That will give them a definite edge. Not so much against humans. Giant killer. Hunter's counter, maybe? I don't even know if they need Hunter's counter. Boost to Slayer's Insight, which is not an ability anymore. Definitely not very useful. I don't know. Swashbuckler, Stand Against the Tide, does not seem to be... You know what? That might be a decent thief ability. I don't see any reason it shouldn't be. It basically lets you just force a creature that misses you with a melee attack to make the same attack again against a creature within melee range that is not you. Which is nice. You know, that orc maybe that you're fighting, or that other thief, maybe he gets the guy next to you, which was his friend. I kind of like that. I don't think there's anything else to keep from that. So yeah, that, I think, takes us through all the ones that we gained. Thief definitely needs a little bit of work. I'm not sure what to add to it right now. I'm definitely gonna have to take a creative look at it. Probably sometime in the morning when all those juices are flowing. And see if we might come up with some other ideas. Chat, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Yeah, I mean, they have 2 14th level abilities, but they only have 1 ability for every other level. And I'm fine with the occasional hole, but 2nd and 6th level, definitely times I would like to see a little bit more. And yeah, none of these really seem to be great. I mean, Ghost Walk might be nice, but that's 14th level. And I would have to rebuild it because it uses the trinket system, which I gave to the Inquisitor. Let's just delete those. You know what? What does the Inquisitor actually get at, what is that, 14th level? Oh, he already has 2 abilities. I'm not giving him the 3rd. Yeah, he's very fleshed out compared to the other 2 we're looking at. So we got Soul Knife, Immortal, because they merged. I feel like there should be another one we didn't do, but I'm not seeing it. We got rid of the regular assassin and replaced it with a champion. Which was already very much stronger. So, I think they have enough subtypes. They're at 8 subtypes. Both of the original ones had 6. So we added 2 and got rid of 4. Not bad for combining 2 classes together to form a more complete total. It only took us 2 hours. And I already had some of it done. But we did add a little bit at least to Thief. Oh, we need text. I totally forgot. Yeah, Inquisitor has no text. Oops. My copying fingers are being weird. The Inquisitor Slayer is known for ferreting out hidden creatures, lies, and deceptions of all types. They would be the ones that ferret out, like, corrupted people. Definitely. I also am gonna include this. They have a high attention to small details and can analyze tactics and exploit any weakness. I think we gave a pretty good example of that with the things we added. They also develop some minor magical-like abilities. Basically the death tokens, which I could show you guys what the talents are. Deathful Knowledge, Deathly Question, Ferryman's Price, and Death's Reach. All very death-focused. But they are definitely the monster hunters. Actually, I should put that in here. Most Inquisitors hunt monsters and corrupted among the population. Yeah, I think that's good. The idea that they're monster hunters definitely should be in there. To help them in their goals. They also develop some minor magical-like abilities. That sounds a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty good for that. I know Assassin has text. Beastmaster has text. Scout has text. I think the Stalker Slayer does too. Yes. Soul Knife, I also have text for. I think Swashbuckler does as well. Yes, it's not much, but it is something. Thief. Thief does not. Thief Slayers are the least slaying of Slayer types. I should probably put in subtypes. They focus on the personal use of the same abilities to make money. I mean, sometimes with a good goal. There are definitely good thieves. But, the goal is definitely more about making money, and stealing items. Usually from the rich and wealthy. Obviously, not all Slayers are going to be altruistic, but yeah, they're definitely gonna be more targeting people who have money, if that's their main focus. Alright, that definitely gives them some flavor text. Alright, I think that is actually everything we need right now for the archetype. So that part is done. Yeah. I'm just making sure it's covering everything that we need. Yeah, I gave one ability up to the Lancers. Insight went to them. Nothing they really have takes advantage of it yet. And I'm definitely gonna have to do some work on these guys to fit them in. But, they do gain that one feature. So, we'll see how it goes. Alright, I think that means we can continue with working on spells. A lot of the spells are being heavily influenced by Pathfinder 2nd edition, or sometimes 1st edition, which in turn were usually based on spells in 3.5 D&D. So roundabout, it all comes back to D&D. But yeah, I only really have a handful of abilities left here. But there is a type of spell that game was supposed to help me with. And do I not have them up anymore? Huh. Maybe I got rid of the sheet. Oh, it is here. So, these are all spells that appear in 5e, but we're gonna work on them here. They're gonna be different levels. Let me grab a group of sheets here that make up our nice little tables, which makes it a little bit easier to see things. Alright. We're gonna need a lot of these. So, there are different sorts of spells that use usually a blade as a focus, occasionally a bow. Sometimes it's more agnostic, and it doesn't really matter what weapon. In Celestia, I'm calling these all blade spells. They're gonna be at different levels, different capabilities, but they share common characteristics. In fact, I should put that as the text. Blade spells are unique for using a, I'll put blade in quotes, using a blade or other weapon to channel their magic. Which is the whole point. If you use, like, a blade spell, usually, if you're wielding a dagger or a sword, doesn't matter the type, you can actually go and channel your magic into the blade. So that's where you get things like Booming Blade or Green Flame Blade. I already made another cantrip, and I should find it. I think it's called Sonic Trap. Sonic Entrapment. It was my first trap spell, and it is a cantrip. Yeah. This is not specifically a blade spell, at least not in this form, but it does what Booming Blade normally does. In fact, let's just put these here. I'm gonna put some categories up just to make this easier to see. Oh, by the way, a lot of these abilities are called smites. So any spell like Ensnaring Strike, or Searing Smite, or Thunderous Smite, or Wrathful Strike, or Zephyr Strike, those are all blade spells in Celestia. And, yeah, their components are going to be the same. They're usually VS and M. And the M is always the weapon in question. I think it's safe to call the one Magic Stones. Basically, it's going to have the same effect as Magic Stone. Oh, and actually, what I should probably pull up. Hang on. Let me go to Be Right Back. I just don't want to accidentally have you see what's in my downloads, in case I have something in there that I don't want you to get. You know, I might have some viewing materials in there we would not like to accidentally have shown. This is the new version of the SRD for Dungeons & Dragons, which is the version that is released under the Creative Commons license. I'm gonna look at the spell in here. It's much safer than looking it actually up in any of the books I have. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Somewhere in here, I know there are spells. Let's see. Goods, services, feats, skills, saving throws. There's a lot of text in here. Give me a sec. Spellcasting. Maybe. Oh, here's the spell list. Oh, wow. Oh, that was bard spells. Really? Magic Stone isn't on the list? Is that a real thing? I mean, that seems a pretty simple spell not to release. Oh, and it's in alphabetical order. Why would you alphabetize a list that is all levels? I would put them by level and then alphabetize, so that first level spells were next to each other. Oh, I'm too far. Do we actually get a magic stone? No. Okay, weird. Very weird. Just in case they alphabetized in the wrong order, I thought I should look. So, I guess our example to use is gonna have to come from over here. Alright, so I don't know what they think is so special in Magic Stone that it can't come as part of the SRD. So it's definitely gonna be one action. Oh wait, I'm on different windows. That's gonna make this a little awkward. I'm not gonna list anything there. Melee range, because you have to touch them. Casting time is one action. Damage type is gonna be bludgeoning. Type. It is a strange utility spell. Probably. No, you know what? I think I'm gonna call it direct damage. Or direct attack, I mean. How much damage does it actually do? You know what? I have a better way of doing this. Intelligence bonus damage. Until used or you rest. That is the longest duration as far as text goes I think I've ever put in here. So, what does Magic Stones do? Well, I know exactly what it does. You know what? No, it's got a minimum already. Just by being intelligence bonus. Because intelligence bonus in Slayer RPG starts at a score of 2. So if you have an intelligence of 2, you get a +1 intelligence bonus. That's actually mechanically dealt with in several ways, so it's not too high. But in here, we're talking about the raw intelligence bonus. So for most people, that's at least 5 damage, which is pretty comparable to the original. Lets you take a handful of stones, either sling bullets or raw stones, and cause them to inflict magical damage when used. They can be used in a sling or thrown by hand. Actually, there needs to be another note in here. Take a handful of stones as part of an attack. Actually, let's take the text there. Alright. Lets you take a handful of stones, either sling bullets or raw stones, as part of an attack, and cause them to inflict magical damage when used. They can be used by a sling or thrown by hand. If used in a sling, use sling damage and add the spell damage. So, if you use them as sling bullets, they're going to be much more powerful. Take a stone. You know what? I don't think this is appropriate anymore. They are in instant use. Upcasting magic stones. I should probably call it magic stone, the way I just wrote it. But single target definitely needs to go on there. Oh, sorry. That's not the text for a cantrip. So, for every... Jeez. What do I have for probably the closest cantrip? Which is actually going to be Arcane Missile. Wait, do I have a range? Oh, I do. Which is probably not an accurate range for the spell anymore. I'm gonna say the range is no longer melee, but 10 meters. Which is pretty much a short range, but you're throwing a rock by hand. I think 10 meters, or about 33 feet, is decent. For that situation, at least. Every 2 levels. Huh. Well, the damage is the same, so for every 2 levels, increase damage. No. How do I even term that? Double damage? No, it should be... increase damage. Oh, how do you even word this? This is so hard. Definitely should be a cantrip, though. Increase damage by a factor. No. We do not have good words in English, I think, to describe this. Multiply the damage by half your level rounded down as your character level increases. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So, at second level, it would be a factor of 1. Because half of 2 is 1. So that still means it's doing the same damage. But half of 3, if we're rounding down, would be 1. I could say round up. Rounding up. As your character level increases. So at third level, if we round up, we get 2 rather than 1. And that would give us twice our int bonus. That is actually very respectable damage. You still have to hit with an attack roll. But, yeah, I think that's pretty good. We can probably add that to the cantrip list. Magic stones would go after magic detection. Yeah. Oh, wrong tab here. Alright, so we got the first one. Green Flame Blade. Do we even want something like Green Flame Blade? What would we call it? Green Flame Blade is probably not the name we would want. Huh. Maybe let's work on something kind of like Booming Blade. I don't want it to be a trap anymore. We already have the trap version. That's definitely already done. Oh, I actually need one more of these. There we go. I need a header. Alright, so. Thunderous Blade, maybe? Or just Thunder Blade? Yeah, we could do that. This version is probably also a direct attack. I feel this is not sonic or thunder damage. This is probably electric damage. Actually, this might be a good alternative to Green Flame Blade if we do it right. And damage shouldn't be too great. Let's see. Oh, we have the SRD up. Does the SRD have? Probably does not have Green Flame Blade. But just in case, I've never tried to look. The end result is not going to look like Green Flame Blade. But it's definitely not here. I don't think. Yeah, it would be over here. Definitely don't see it. Let's see. Green Flame Blade. What? Green. How about that? Will that show me what I want? Oh, it's got a hyphen. Sure. You know what? Just to make this easier on me. I'm definitely changing the way it scales, though. But let's draw it over here, just so I can read it. It might be a little hard for you guys to read. I'm not so sure. For me, it seems perfectly sized. For you guys, I'm not entirely sure. Let me know. So let's see. We need the damage first. Oh, it just does spellcasting ability modifier. You know what? I want fixed damage for this. It looks like they make it into D8s. So we'll have it be a D8. Which is very solid for a cantrip at first level. It's going to be one action. This is a melee type. Maybe we'll make something similar that is a flame ability and make it for, like, ranged weapon attacks. Breath is single target. Duration is instant. So, Thunderblade is a spell which causes a charge to build on your weapon, and with a successful hit, it inflicts damage. For the weapon to the struck target, and then jumps up to... How far should it jump? What is it for Green Flame Blade? 5 feet. So, 2 meters? Because Celestia actually uses metric system. I can do the math in my head for feet, 2 meters. So, not a big issue for me. And probably pretty useful for anyone in Canada or Europe or most of the rest of the world. dealing electric damage. So, they have it upgrading at 5th level, 11th level, and 17th. For every, I'm gonna say 5 levels. You know what? That seems kinda high. For every 4 levels, the electric surge can jump to another target within 2 meters of the last. So yeah, a very different spell than Green Flame Blade, but also very effective when used right. It's pretty much in line with a lot of the other cantrips too as far as leveling up. Usually they get more damage. This just lets it whip out to even more targets. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. 2 meters is not very far, so you could run out of targets really quick. But in the right circumstance, knowing that cantrip can be a very effective tool. Oops. I'm forgetting what tab I have what on. Sorry. It should go right there, I think. Seems pretty in line, though. So I think we should be good. What do we want to call it? I don't know. I'm not even sure what this looks like yet. I wanted it to be a flame ability, but I'm not sure what it should be. You know, for now, I think 2 might be enough. If we need more, we can always come back. So, first level spells. Ensnaring Strike. Searing Smite. So, let's put the qualifier on these. Ensnaring. Searing. Thunderous. Actually, I want to call it Booming. Since we got rid of the cantrip, that's Booming Blade. Whatever we call it. Booming Smite, maybe? Booming Strike? I kind of like that name. Booming Strike. Alright, anyway, Wrathful. Just the qualifier is all we're going to put on here. And Zephyr. One of my characters has Zephyr Strike, and uses it a lot, because it is very hard-hitting. But let's take a look at what they do. And I don't think any of them appear in the SRD. So, let's take a quick look. I'm not sure I would make it to require vines. It's a ranger ability. You know what? I think I just might call them all strikes. So, ensnaring strike is what their version is called. You know what? I think this is a combination attack. And part of it is physical. I think that is definitely the type it is. It's not going to do any direct damage. It is one action. Components. Oh, wait. Let's switch those. Our header should not include VSM. It is definitely a single target spell. Range. I think the range is melee, because it's not really affecting the attack. Until hit. I think that's the only way to word how the duration is. So we repeat it name-wise when we get over here. Ensnaring strike lets you make one weapon, if I can spell weapon, attack. And if it is successful, the target must make a physical save or suffer the status condition. Restrained. Status or restrained condition. Alright, and upgrade path. Upcasting, ensnaring strike. What would that even do? That is a very good question. Do they actually have anything for upcasting it? Oh, theirs does damage? Or no, it just adds damage. Okay, that's a little bit weird. I mean, the damage isn't really required for this spell. Oh, they take damage at the start of each turn. We didn't really add that effect. We could... I'm not gonna say piercing, though. I'm gonna call it force damage. And it was what? A D8, a D6, D6. 1d6 force. Each turn, the target is restrained. They take damage. And damage is already described in the spell. So, increases the damage by 1d6 per spell level. I really feel the damage is superfluous. Not a primary characteristic of the spell itself. In fact, take non-lethal damage. I really feel this is a spell to incapacitate a target, not to kill them. So, while it is force damage, it's non-lethal. So, yes. Oh, and that actually does make it very useful against heavily armored targets. Celestia has what I call an armor rating system that reduces physical, piercing, and bludgeoning damage. But magical types of damage, like fire, sonic, electricity, and force, do not get stopped by armor. Or at least not unless it has an extra effect on it. So, with that in mind, I think this is a very good compromise. Even a heavily armored target will take the force damage, but it's non-lethal, so it won't kill them. Or at least not directly. I'm probably gonna call this Searing Strike for the next one. And probably most of these are going to be pretty similar. Yeah. Extra damage and ignites things. Okay, it is pretty much the same thing. Wow. It's just not gonna be non-lethal. I don't see fire as being non-lethal. So. Oh, I did that in the wrong spots. Alright, combination attack. That is definitely still a physical attack. Casting time is still one action. These spells are very, very similar. Range is still the same. The text will even be basically identical. Text here is going to be identical. Alright. I'm just going to copy over Searing Strike a couple of times. Right, then it's a matter of grabbing the same text. Because functionally, there is no difference. Except they're not restrained, obviously. Physical save or... take damage. And... any flammable items are ignited. I think that's the extra benefit from Searing Strike. Thunderous Smite. Is that just gonna be thunder damage? Wow, I can't type. Okay, much higher damage. And it pushes them away. Wait, why? Oh, it lasts up to a minute. Wait. Let's search for smites, because I don't... Oh, it also had concentration up to a minute. I don't think we need that. That feels a little bit weird to me. Though we are making it a single attack action. So it's also probably better in that sense. You know what? If we're gonna push them back or knock them away, that probably doesn't need any more, damage. It can probably get away with being the same damage as the other types. Because it's gonna be basically just the same as these others. Okay, this is just getting kind of silly, really. But they do add interesting options each time. Setting flammables on fire. In restraining the target. This one has pushback. Yeah. Oh, wait. I didn't make it single target. I just made it single. Alright, so. You are V, S, and M. Again, until hit. I really don't expect that it's gonna take too long before you get a hit. If you have to concentrate for minutes at a time, maybe it is not a good choice of spell for you. Maybe if it was every attack, that would make the spells very different. What do you think? What do you think? Should it be that the spell is concentration and every successful attack inflicts these conditions? Or should it be that, and I guess in that sense they would stack? That would be weird for like ensnaring strike. But other than that, I could sort of see it. Sorry, little gears are working in my brain. Hey, Sun Eater, how you doing? You caught us as we're working on spells. Specifically, very, very similar spells. And I'm glad to hear it. Actually, let me check something really quick here. Alright. So, do we make them concentration, or do we leave them as a single hit? I gotta say, I'm kind of leaning towards concentration. Okay, that sounds like a monumental task, Suneater. I do not know Pokemon very well. It was... I think when it came on to TV here, I was like 13-ish, and I was not really watching cartoons anymore. Which is how it was presented. So, I sort of missed out on Pokemon. But I think it took us a long time to get the Pokemon anime. I think Pokemon had come out much earlier, but it wasn't on, like, over-the-air TV. My parents didn't believe in cable, and still don't, actually. So, yeah, we didn't get much in the way of, like, TV. So, it is a spell that lets your weapon attacks also deal the restrained condition on a successful strike if the target fails a physical save. Each turn the target is restrained, they take non-lethal damage. What would a Suneater spell even be? There are actually two spells that kind of remind me of you. What level are they? I think 3rd. There's Blazing Light, Dark Blast, and actually a couple others might work, like Hungry Void. There's no real description for that one. So. But, yeah, I'm not sure what one of those would look like. The upcasting effect looks fine. Let's... also deal... damage, and any flammable items are ignited. Huh, do they even need to make another save for that? Probably. Do we need to mention it? Maybe not. You know what? Really quick, I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. It has been like 3 hours since I used the restroom. So, it's probably understandable. Alright, so. Let's grab the text here. Alright. Also deal damage and knock the target back. 4 meters, or knock them prone. And the damage increases just like the other versions. There we go. Yes, I need to make a video about it, but Wizards of the Coast has gone back on the whole concept of changing the original OGL. In fact, we have the new Creative Commons licensed SRD version 5.1 up right here. It's been part of our reference material. Not that we're doing the same thing they do. But, yeah. We don't know, and they, in fact, didn't say if they plan to do any, like, changes to future content. It's quite likely they have plans. What those plans are, no one has any ideas. My guess would be that VTTs are going to be a target, potentially keeping them from using 1D&D materials or rules or concepts or terms when 1D&D finally comes out. But we're at least a year or two from 1D&D. I mean, right now, they've showed us 2 Unearthed Arcana, I believe. So, yeah. And this has pretty much interrupted their testing. Their testing should have gone to a new release in about the beginning of next month, I think, if they keep the same schedule. So, yeah, definitely something to think about. I was so good about coughing until just then. But yeah, probably we are going to face some issues in a couple of years. But it does give us a couple of years in the meantime. And I guess we're just gonna have to work with that. I'm just gonna portion, what even is that? Portion these out before I forget, or I need to do something else. Just making sure. Alright, 4th level gets one whole spell. Wow. Oh wow, I actually need more. Let's do 2 groups. There's only 1 4th level, but there are 4 5th level. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 2 extra. Actually, probably should have, nope. Let me copy a couple of these, in case I add any. You know, I'm likely to do it. Totally likely. So, Wrathful Strike is the one we're on. What does that do? Oh, psychic damage, and they're frightened. Okay, I can see a useful purpose to that. I think Fearful Strike is probably a better name, though. Alright, it is also combination attack, though this is a will save. And 1d6 psychic damage. Casting time is 1 action. Range is melee. It is still single target. Components are V, S, and M. duration is up to a minute. And what does Fearful Strike do? That is what we need now. Yeah. Only the damage increases on these spells, so that part is easy. Deal damage and causes the frightened condition. Okay, so that leaves Zephyr, and then we're done with first level ones. What does Zephyr do? Okay, Zephyr is different. You know what? I'm willing to say this is not a blade spell. Yeah, I think it's a conventional spell. I don't see anything in the text that would require using a weapon as a focus. So, and those will be our first level spells. I think it's a pretty good group. Not a lot of damage, but all of them have extra effects. Even if Searing Strike is a little bit on the weaker side. Except that most of your clothes are probably flammable. So, probably not the best thing for your clothes to get set on fire. We do have 2 second level ones. Branding. What does it do? I don't know if I would want that effect. I think we can do better. Branding Strike. The type is combination attack. And probably combination physical. By the way, if you have a question about something I'm adding, let me know. For the second level spell, let's do 2d6. This is radiant damage. Casting time is 1 action. Range is melee. Again, breath is single target. And it is VS and M. It is also concentration. Let's copy the name. We have a lot of the work for this spell already done. It's going to use the same concept as the others. But we can increase the damage when upcast. So we are going to do that. To 2d6. Really, the 1d6 for the others is actually a little bit low. But because you can use it Actually, you know what? 1d6 each time. I think I'm just gonna have it be 1d6. Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. I'm gonna use them as an example. So, Branding Strike is a spell that lets your weapon attacks also deal damage and cause the target to glow, ending or how do we want to put that? Providing the next attacker edge on their attack and making a invisible target visible. Or at least functionally visible. Should I put the functionally? Maybe. Target functionally visible. Flame Blade is the other one. I'm just gonna put Flame Blade in there for now. That might actually be in the SRD. It actually is. So that's a bonus to us. You evoke a Fury Blade in your free hand. The blade is similar in size and shape to a scimitar. I don't want any of that part of the text. It lasts longer than the others. A lot more damage. I think I figured out what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it Flaming Blade, first of all. Definitely a combination attack spell. Yeah, we already have... No, that was Searing Strike. Most of the things are gonna be the same. I'm gonna reduce the damage a little bit to put it in line with the other attack here. Melee, single target. Same components. Duration is the same. I'll reduce that to put it in line with all the other versions. It is a spell that... How did I miss the word that? Is a spell that lets your weapon attacks also deal damage. I should probably put that as increased damage. Sets flammable or ignites. That is the word we should use. Ignites flammable objects and casts light like a torch. I think that's a decent upgrade on the other one. Oh, it's over here. I'm forgetting where they are now. Oh, wow. That's actually kind of weird. It is every 2 slots. You would never want to upcast Flame Blade. Not really. So, let's go and stick our upcasting in here. It's going to use the same exact text as the one next to it. I think that's 2 spaces. There we go. Alright. Yeah, these are functionally identical. Definitely different options. Flaming Blade probably doesn't really need to be cast on a blade. Maybe we should call it Flaming Weapon. I don't know. I like the imagery of Flaming Blade. But, Alright, so that will give us 2nd level spells. We'll need to add those into the spell list as well. Oh, we should quickly arrange these correctly in alphabetical order. Actually, I think I can do that just by flipping those 2 into the front. Sort of. E goes before F. Alright. That will leave us at 3rd level spells. What does it look like? You know what? I think that's a good bit of work for about an hour-ish. Yeah. We got a good handful of spells. Most are very similar, which definitely helps. But they all have a unique twist. You can tell that obviously they are very similar spells. Even these 2 are pretty close, even though I did Flaming Weapon rather than Flaming Strike. Mostly because I wanted to avoid any conflicts with maybe other terms or other spells being a little too similar. So yeah, I think that's everything I want to do. I don't want to get into 3rd level spells quite yet. Conjure Barrage is definitely going to be different. And Elemental Weapon is going to duplicate a lot of the effects of the earlier spells, probably. So I'm going to definitely have to think about that. Flame Arrows, probably duplicating Flaming Weapon. Or Searing Strike, either or. We're going to have to look at those a lot more in depth than I can really do before I need to go for dinner. So, I think that's a good place to finish for today. Just to go back on what we've done, we finished the Slayer Archetype, the first of many different archetypes as we adjust them for the Celestia RPG and not 5e. It is also combining the Ranger / Slayer build with the Rogue to make one unified Slayer. Then we did subtypes. I didn't go too in-depth into the details for the subtypes, but this is at least a place to start. So, with that, let me find someone for us to raid. And I'll work some more over the next week. We'll take a look. And then I'll probably be back for more of this next Saturday. Who do I want us to raid? I think we're gonna raid Pixie Cat. Why do I keep calling him that? Pix Cat. I know what the name is, and I keep getting it wrong anyway. Alright. She is playing God of War. It's a game I've played a lot of times. Well, once. It feels like a lot of times. There was a lot of days in that. So, let me start the raid. Alright, that is fired up. Tomorrow is Celestia Original Campaign. The OC crew. I should definitely have some fun with them. It's usually a pretty good time. They had a really big fight last time around. Hopefully more of the crew will be there for tomorrow. So it should be a very fun time. Otherwise, Monday is my second streaming anniversary. I don't know exactly what I'm doing on Monday yet, but I'll come up with something. I swear. So, with that said, have fun, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.